You're watching the news on Magic Bricks now. I'm Amita Balachandra. Let's take a look at the top headlines. In a historic decision, the centre increases paid maternity leave from 12 weeks to 26 weeks. Also, companies with more than 50 employees will have to set up a creche. The move will benefit nearly 1.8 million women in India. Despite a debt of 3.6 lakh crore, Maharashtra government readies to splurge 4,600 crore rupees on memorials to Shivaji, Bal Thackeray and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. And 2 days after Shiv Sena goons turn moral police, protest erupts in Kochi. Activists say, stop this moral policing. Kiss of love protest begins in Kerala again. Straight up, good news for mothers across India. What comes as a welcome move, the centre has amended the maternity benefit bill. Now, mothers across India will get an extended paid 26 weeks maternity leave. This, in fact, is a big relief from the existing 12-week leave that working women avail. Another important benefit that's coming through that would be implemented soon as per the amended bill is establishment with more than 50 employees to provide for creche facility. Now, while all of this is great news for mothers across India, a number of concerns also arise. For instance, what will happen to women in the unorganized sector? What will happen to women who go away for nearly 6 months and then come back and have to adopt to the latest technology to their workplaces? All of those things, of course, but the Labour Ministry has to implement this. That's something we'll keep a very, very close watch on here on Magic Bricks. Now, moving on now, after massive outrage over his controversial tweet on Women's Day, filmmaker Ram Gopal Verma finally issued an apology. He tweeted his apology, and I quote, "Was just expressing my feelings, but I apologize to all who were offended due to my unintended, insensitive tweets in context of Women's Day." However, actress Sunny Leone has now slammed the filmmaker, saying that one must choose their words wisely.
Hey everyone, I read all the news today and I believe that change only happens when we have one voice, so choose your words wisely.
And away from that story now, Marine Drive in Kochi, the spot of moral policing by Shiv Sena activists on Wednesday, became the place to express freedom of love as several pairs locked lips to register their protest against hooliganism. Now, the protest in the evening were marked by street plays and musical performances. On Thursday, a group of Sena workers chased couples at Marine Drive and also manhandled them. Moving on now to Mumbai's Maha Memorial splurge that has landed in controversy once again. We're talking about the government's plan to splurge nearly 4,600 crore rupees on Shivaji, Bal Thackeray and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar memorials. This splurge comes despite a debt burden of 3.63 lakh crore rupees and with more than 2,500 farmers ending their lives due to crop failure. Meanwhile, a 12-year-old teenager from Kerala is pleading for justice for her father, who was killed in January in Kannur. Vismaya's father, Santosh, who was an RSS worker, was hacked to death, allegedly, by left workers. Now, 2 months later, Vismaya has made a silent protest through a video in which she is seen holding placards detailing her father's tragic death and the difficult future that she faces. Now, Vismaya has adopted the method that Gurmeher Kaur had used, while the left had come out in Gurmeher Kaur's support. Now, it remains to be seen whether the left will come out to help Vismaya to get justice. Moving on now, commuters in Mumbai faced a hard time on Friday as the Ola and Uber drivers went on a protest strike across the city. The drivers are outraged against the Maharashtra Transport Department's new resolution of levying restrictions on cab aggregators, including proposal to slash down their incentives. Now, agitating drivers have put forth a slew of demands. They have also threatened to continue their strike if their demands are not met. Richa Sharma, who was on ground covering this, gets us this report.
Sumit Sharma not too long ago worked in a call center for almost 5.5 years. But he was attracted to the online aggregator Uber, which promised him nearly 1,25,000 a month. And earlier he was earning a meager 25,000 rupees. But now, as Ola and Uber have begun to roll back incentives, he says he's barely able to make ends meet.
I was getting a monthly salary of 25,000 each month. So I quit over there. I put out my resignation and I started with my driving line. I have made a down payment of 1.5 lakh for my car, and I started with Uber. So unfortunately, for the first one, they provided me a business of 50,000. After that, suddenly it came down and down and down. And right now, the position like I'm not able to make up my EMI as well. Today is 10th, and in my account I have only 8,000 bucks with me, and 15th is my EMI debt. So where will I put my car? How will I manage to get my EMI done? And from 4 months, I am not able to give a single penny to my parents.
Today, the Ola and Uber taxi drivers and owners are on an indefinite strike on 10th of March for fulfilling their demands that they have put forward in front of the Ola and Uber companies. And they state that for a few years now they have been trying to negotiate with their company, but nothing has been done much. So today, more than 80% of the vehicles are off-road. सर आप बताइए क्या डिमांड्स के लिए आप आज ये प्रोटेस्ट और ये स्ट्राइक कर रहे हैं, और क्या एग्जैक्टली आपकी मांग है ओला और उबर से?
ओला ने मुंबई में शुरुआत की थी, 21 रुपीज़ किलोमीटर से शुरुआत किया था। आज इतना बड़ा कंपटीशन हो गया है ओला उबर के बीच में कि आज वो ड्राइवरों का हक मार रहे हैं। 21 से सीधा आज गरीब ड्राइवर 6 रुपये किलोमीटर चला रहे हैं। आप बताइए 6 रुपये किलोमीटर में ओला उबर हमसे कमीशन 25% ले रही है, ड्राइवर को यानी 4 रुपये 5 रुपये किलोमीटर मिल रहा है। प्लस एक ड्राइवर, हमारे पास प्रूफ है, 18 आवर्स ऑनलाइन है और 2,000 की अर्निंग भी नहीं कर पा रहा है। ऊपर से कोई भी अगर कस्टमर ने कुछ भी हमें बुरा रेटिंग दे दिया गलती से, सीधा कुछ भी कंप्लेंट ड्राइवर के अगेंस्ट 500 रुपये डिडक्शन। उबर एक्सेप्टेशन रेट के से हमारा पूरे डे का इंसेंटिव हमारा खत्म कर देती है।
तुमने हमसे कहा कि आओ हमारे साथ गाड़ी लगाओ, हम तुमको 1,25,000 देंगे, तो वो 1,25,000 का वादा क्या हुआ? बल्कि वो तो तुमने दिया नहीं, लोगों को तुमने भूखा मार दिया, लोगों के सर पे तुमने लोने चढ़वा दी, उनके सिबिल खराब हो गए और लोगों को खुदकुशी तक के करने पर तुमने मजबूर कर दिया। तो आज ये जो भीड़ उमड़ी है ये ऑब्वियसली इसी के खिलाफ।
ये जो पॉलिसी बन रही है गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से, ये पॉलिसी सिर्फ और सिर्फ कंपनी के और टैक्सी वालों के फेवर में बन रही है। और इस पॉलिसी को जो नाम दिया गया है ऐप बेस्ड टैक्सी परमिट, जिसके अंदर ड्राइवर का सपोर्ट रहा है, एप्लीकेशन मार्केट को बढ़ाने के लिए ड्राइवरों ने जो सपोर्ट दिया, इस पॉलिसी के अंदर ड्राइवरों के लिए कुछ भी नहीं दिया गया है। नॉट इवन अ सिंगल पॉइंट हैज बीन रेज्ड फ्रॉम द ड्राइवर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू और सपोर्टिंग टू द ड्राइवर्स ऑफ टूरिस्ट कैब। So my point is very clear that government should think and companies should support us in favoring the policy.
So as you saw, a number of Ola and Uber drivers are currently protesting today on 10th of March against not just the state transport department's new regulation and the final regulation that came out on Wednesday, but also against the Ola Uber companies who they state are not looking into the grievances that they have put forward in front of them time and again, and not much has been done. So moving forward, we'll see if any of their demands will be met with, not just monetarily but also otherwise, or they will have to continue with the problems and the situation that they are currently facing in the city of Mumbai. This is Richa Sharma for Magic Bricks Now.
Well, a number of demands by the Ola Uber drivers there, mostly against low incentives. But also it's important to remember that Maharashtra City Taxi Scheme has also been implemented by the Maharashtra government, which means it brings in a lot of a level playing field between Kalipili taxis and Ola Uber. Of course, Ola Uber players are not, cab-based aggregators are not very happy with the rules that have come in, especially the minimum and maximum fares that will be brought in to curb surge pricing. That's something that we'll keep a very, very close watch on here on Magic Bricks Now as well. Moving on to Chennai, where in a clear violation to the law, a pathway has been constructed in front of a river in North Chennai. The environmentalists are against this move and are blaming the PWD department for delayed action. Shweta gets us the latest.
Residents and environmentalists are against the construction of the pathway at Satankudu village in Tiruvallur district. The road that has been built into the canal comes under the control of PWD, and according to the law, this is not permissible. However, you could see that the road has been laid, and CPCL authorities have in fact constructed some heavy materials in this place. The residents said that this is not the first time it is happening, and also questioned on how these projects are given the approval when it is close to the water body. Environmentalists have also condemned this act. When we spoke to the Taluk officials, they told Magic Bricks Now that they have talked to the PWD officials, and they said that they have asked them to stop this work immediately. And as you could see, now the work has been suspended. In Chennai, Shweta for Magic Bricks Now.
What we're seeing in Satankade is that road made of construction debris is being laid across the ecologically sensitive and vulnerable parts of the Kosisthalya River. The area that this dumping is happening now is classified as CRZ 1 under the CRZ notification of 2011, and it means that these areas are vulnerable, especially also because that this construction is blocking the area where the surplus water from the Red Hills Reservoir runs into the Ennur Creek to meet the Bay of Bengal at the estuary.
Meanwhile, in Bengaluru, after pushing for suburban trains, citizens are now demanding for more public buses. As a part of a campaign, the volunteers embarked on a 2-day road show to motivate people to lessen the use of private vehicles and use public transport instead. Shrija gets us more details.
First it was Chikkabuku Beku, now it is Bus Bhagya Beku. Citizens for Bengaluru are out here for a road show where they are going to campaign and tell people, the common man, to please use the public transport. In fact, they are promoting, asking the people to use, they're pushing for the mass transit. Also, what we understand is that they have embarked on a 2-day road show. They will be from here, that they have right now started from the RBNMS college that is here at Alsur. From here, they will go to Coxtown. From Coxtown, they will be going to Ring Road, and from there they will be culminating their road show for today till Bhuksandra. What we understand is that they're planning to in fact cover at least 33 kilometers, going about distributing pamphlets, telling people that please use BMTC buses, so that when more number of people use the public transport, the private vehicles on the road can be in fact reduced, and it can help decongest the traffic. Also, what we understand is that the BMTC chairman Nagraj, he has already promised these citizens that they are planning to at least induct another 3,000 buses. But however, these volunteers are, what they're telling me is that they need at least 6,000 buses on road to decongest the traffic. In Bengaluru, Srija for Magic Bricks Now.
2-day road show for Bus Bhagya Beku. In the state, people may not know, but in Karnataka is very famous for various bhagyas. There is Anna Bhagya for food and for milk and for laptops. So what we are asking for is to decongest the city by providing buses, doubling the buses and halving the fare. That's the demand. We have embarked on a 2-day road show. This is our first stop. We are on an open-top vehicle. We are at RBNMS College now with hundreds of students behind us chanting Bus Bhagya Beku. Music to our ears, and hopefully it will be music to the streets of Bengaluru. And from here we go to Bhuksandra, which is perhaps about 10 kilometers away. We will be meeting a colony of people there. And we'll also be going to Tannery Road. Tomorrow we'll be going to LR Nagar, the slum. We'll be meeting some garment workers in Electronic City. So we have a 2-day plan. The plan is to take Bus Bhagya demands to everybody. We already have heard from the public, there's an overwhelming opinion that we need to double the buses and half the fare. Bangalore is the city with the highest amount of bus fares compared to Mumbai, compared to Chennai. So we are asking to half the fares. In many cities, fares haven't been raised for 10 years. In Bangalore, they've been raised to the point that they are unaffordable for daily wage laborers. And on Sunday, we have a round table. All of these people that we are meeting, the representatives are going to come to the round table and submit their demands, which will then go to the Chief Minister.
Moving on now to the ongoing Parliament session, where the House witnessed commotion as the government and opposition parties continue to spar over action against active terror modules in the country. In a statement to the Parliament, Home Minister Rajnath Singh assured a severe crackdown and said that the National Investigative Agency will soon probe into the thriving terror network, including the Lucknow encounter in which suspected terrorist Mohammed Saifullah was killed.
इस पूरे प्रकरण की जांच एनआईए से कराई जाएगी मैं यहाँ पर यह भी एक उल्लेख करना चाहूँगा कि सैफुल्लाह जो कि इस ऑपरेशन में मारा गया है, उसके पिता मोहम्मद सरताज ने भी जो एक स्टेटमेंट दिया है उसका उल्लेख करना मैं समझता हूँ ये आवश्यक है कि जो देश का न हुआ वो मेरा कैसे हो सकता है। उसने कोई सही काम तो किया नहीं है, मुझे उसका मरा हुआ मुंह तक नहीं देखना। सरताज पर पूरे सदन को तो नाज है ही, पूरे देश को भी नाज है। डिप्टी चेयरमैन सर,
इस बात के लिए आपसे सहमत हूं कि सैफुल्लाह के पिता ने जो एक भावना व्यक्त की है ये राष्ट्र की भावना को प्रतिबिंबित करती है और हम सब उसका समर्थन करते हैं। लेकिन माननीय उपसभापति महोदय, आतंकवाद से कभी समझौता नहीं किया जा सकता और माननीय गृह मंत्री जी के ध्यान में सर 1 minute
my suggestion,
this is related.
I have a suggestion. No, I have my suggestion. You listen.
Yes, okay.
Ab suniye. My suggestion is this. I think there are other members also who want. Therefore, let us decide a clarification on the statement if necessary. Or if the House agree, we can take now. Now that is all.
Normal procedure in the House. The normal procedure in the House is the minister makes a statement. There are clarifications that are sought.
So you can have one now.
We'll ask clarification.
Yeah.
Moving on now, polls done, predictions over. It's now time for a tryst with destiny. Results for all 5 assembly elections, including Uttar Pradesh, Punjab and Goa, will be announced tomorrow. And going by a poll of all exit polls released yesterday, the BJP is poised to clinch a lion's share of votes in 4 of the 5 states, with Punjab being the exception, where the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress Party are caught in a neck-and-neck fight to achieve absolute majority. As far as the biggest prize in the race, Uttar Pradesh, is concerned, most polls have predicted that BJP will emerge as the single largest party with 160 to 180 seats, with few even giving it an absolute majority with more than 250 seats. And if UP were to throw up a hung assembly, we're sure to see unprecedented negotiations to bring very unlikely political bedfellows together. All that and more will be a tale of tale tomorrow. In the meantime, let's go live with Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi's words about how the pollster got it all wrong in Bihar. Listening.
कांग्रेस पार्टी और गठबंधन यूपी में जीतेगा और क्या कहना है सर? बिहार में भी एग्जिट पोल देखे थे मैंने जी। आप मीडिया के एग्जिट पोल देखे थे बिहार में जी। 11 तारीख को बात करें।
Well, I feel still very enthusiastic about it, and I'm hoping and praying that we do come back, because we want a secular government in UP, and I think the vast majority of people would like a secular government.
We are happy, but we are waiting for the actual results. That if UP has to develop, we must align with the central government led by Narendra Modi ji for better UP. I am very clear, conclusive, convincing majority for a better UP aligned with India. That's how we see it.
We were looking up to AAP, but they didn't, really fit into our expectations because the tickets were given very wrongly. It is actually, AAP has not performed here. So it is not about, they are not fighting on the basis of a performance. They are fighting on the basis of anti-incumbency, which people are wanting a change, so AAP is there. Otherwise, there was no reason for AAP to happen because they've not done anything at the ground level.
Somebody is showing us 23, 18, 19 like that. But we have full guarantee that this time Goa BJP will win at least 22 to 26 seats. Plus we have given independent support for 2 candidates. They will also win, and our tally will go to at least 24 to form the government. I am firm that we'll get 22 seats. But suppose it happens like that, then all options will be open for a good government, corruption-free government for the Goa.
Exit polls, the numbers that they are showing, clearly it's a hint that probably the alliance between the Samajwadi Party and the Congress Party in Uttar Pradesh hasn't gone down very well with the people of UP.
So who is responsible about that? And according to me, it has gone down very well because SP would not have got a single vote of minority community had there not been Congress alliance. Because if you criticize Mr. Narendra Modi for Gujarat riot, you cannot exonerate yourself for Muzaffarnagar riot. It is because of political and all kind of opposition, disobedience to his esteemed father who has made Samajwadi Party. It has not gone down well. The result will show that youthfulness and vigorness cannot be substitute to a matured experience in politics.
At the outset, I would say that as our own arithmetic which has been worked out within the party, we are confident we will be there in all these states and we will be comfortably there. Barring of course Punjab.
Okay.
And even as single largest party, we will be way ahead of every other party.
Okay.
And therefore, as I said, now this heralds two important messages. A, that Bharatiya Janata Party is the only truly national party. Not Congress, though they claim to be so, but it's got reduced to even less than a regional party.
Yeah.
B, as I said, this is the coming of age of the Indian voter. He's risen above caste, creed, religion, and also come out of the feudalist mindset. And it is now for the Congress party to engage themselves in serious introspection. I think, as it's been rightly put, this is a natural disadvantage of dynastic succession dictating the composition of the leadership in any political party. And this is what has plagued Congress, which has plagued Samajwadi Party. And therefore, I think BJP has now emerged as a true torchbearer of democracy.
Would you?
Away from that now, with spring around the corner, it is time to invest in furniture that can weather all the seasons. Now is the time when you should be enjoying the outdoors. Terrace, gardens should be the go-to places. Aishwarya Palwal caught up with the editor-in-chief of Good Homes, who took us through all the pieces that could make for excellent outdoor furniture.
A very warm welcome to a new episode of the Trending Interiors with me, Aishwarya Palwal. Now, I'm outside this store called Abaka, and what's very interesting about this store is that it has a wide range of products and pieces that you can use as outdoor furnitures. And we are awaited inside by Ronita Italia Dhanu, who's the editor-in-chief of Good Homes. Let's go inside and check out the pieces that Ronita has for you, which can be used as very good pieces when you want to sit outdoors and enjoy the different types of weathers that Mumbai city has to offer. Ronita, the vibe of this place is very different, you know. It's very spring, it's bright, colorful. Tell us what is it that we are looking around right now?
So Aishwarya, well, I wanted to bring you guys outdoors because, yes, I mean, spring is around the corner. We're kind of done with winter. We want to take things outside, breakfast on the balcony. It's one of those, you know, things that we all look forward to. So yes, outdoors is what we, you know, what we're going to talk about today. The outdoor space is as vibrant, if not more, as the indoor space. I mean, you've got a lot of options. For example, see the couch that you're sitting on. The detailing is amazing. You've got fabric options that weren't there before. One of the main reasons why I enjoy this kind of, you know, styling, Aishwarya, is the color. We're not restricted to neutrals, blacks, dark browns. You've got a range of color. You know, there are some very pretty blues that have come in. There's lime green, that's yellow, there's red. I mean, options that you never imagined before are, you know, something that you kind of have access to right now. Aishwarya, for starters, if you look at what we're sitting under, you know, I would very highly recommend that you invest in a cabana like this one. You also have smaller pergolas or, you know, canopies that you can kind of set up. There are obviously outdoor umbrellas that one can open up and sit under. So while I mean, these are options that you can also kind of use when the weather doesn't permit you to sit outdoors. So something like this would be lovely on your terrace, even in the rains, you know, because then you can enjoy the rains while you're sitting outdoors. So that's one of the, again, biggest pluses of, you know, having evolved where our options are concerned. I would also kind of recommend that you throw in options and mix and match pieces. Make sure that there's enough for everyone and every age group to be comfortable with. I think that would be, you know, a good idea. Another very interesting thing, Aishwarya, today is the different styling for swings. You know, you have a lot of swings that are available today, single swings, you know, I mean, you've got these lovely pendulum sort of forms, and it's amazing to see how experimental we've gone with our design.
Thank you.
Thanks, Aishwarya.
That's a wrap on the news here on Magic Bricks. Now stay with us.